Hell, I'm lucky I got a sandwich myself.
I mean, you can't complain about nothing like that. Let me see, I got you. The sandwich? You're a good man. Come here. I love you, buddy. You are a good man.
The WNBA is on ION. Every Friday, we shine a light on the brightest stars in the game. Bullseye, baby. This week, the Washington Mystics blow into the Windy City and take on the Chicago Sky. So smooth. Then, the Dallas Wings fly to Seattle and try to weather the storm.
Watch it. Buries the three.
Mystics, Sky, followed by Wings, Storm. Coverage starts now. Only on ION. State Farm WNBA Friday Night Spotlight on ION is sponsored by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Downtown Chicago, Wintrust Arena, home to the Chicago Sky, the 2-0 Chicago Sky, welcoming in the Washington Mystics here tonight on ION. This is the State Farm WNBA Friday Night Spotlight game, the first on ION of the season. We're proud to bring it to you here in Chicago. We got a doubleheader here tonight, and just another way to showcase the WNBA throughout the season. Always fun to roll with the Flying Illini, the Illini great Stephen Bardo, and I'm Lisa Byington. Stephen, this is the first matchup between the Mystics and the Sky here this season, and the Sky have been driven by defense this year.
And they're going to get tested tonight. They do hang their hat on the defensive end, but when you're trying to stop Shakira Austin, Elena Delaton, and Natasha Cloud, that's a tall order. On the flip side, the Sky want to turn over Washington. They want to get after them defensively, especially Natasha Cloud.
We take a look at the starting lineup, and those big three that you mentioned for the Mystics in the starting lineup, around with Brittany Sykes as well as Ariel Atkins. Marina Mabry's back in the starting lineup for Chicago. She missed the last game with an ankle injury. You got your matchup between Elena Delaton, the All-Star, against the rookie Morgan Birch.
Most people don't know about Morgan Birch. She's going to have a coming-out party tonight. She have a chip on her shoulder to go up against one of the best.
One of the best indeed. And you see the home opener and a nice crowd here at Wintrust Arena. This is an arena that holds about 10,000 plus. Look at Eric Thibault in year number one. You look at Elena Delaton, of course, drafted by Chicago in 2013. She comes into tonight as the 8th best scorer in the league and averaging the 7th most minutes. We know that she's been dealing with some back injuries as of late in the last couple of years, but she seems to be healthy and putting up Elena Delaton numbers once again. And Kalia Copper is the leading scorer in the first two games for the Chicago Sky. If you've been following the WNBA and the Chicago Sky story, you know that Kai is one of the few players left remaining from the 2021 championship year for the Chicago Sky. So not only does she have to put up the numbers, but she's got to be the leader here this year as well.
And I think she's matured into that role quite nicely. She puts so much pressure on opposing defenses, especially in a fast break situation. And so I think that with the defensive kind of direction that the Sky have gone, it will allow them to get out in the fast break and be effective.
It's right up her alley, too.
No doubt.
And going back to her Rutgers days playing for C. Vivian Stringer, all about defense at Rutgers. And handshakes around. And the first meeting between the Mystics, who come in with a 1-2 overall record. They won their first game, upset the Liberty in the season opener, 80-64, put up 80 points against the Liberty, and then struggled against Connecticut and dropped the last two, giving up 80 points to Connecticut in the first meeting and then 88 points in the second meeting.
Well, you see players very familiar with one another. Natasha Cloud coming out smiling, but that smile won't last long, trust me.
The tip is won by Elizabeth Williams into the hands of Marina Mabry. We mentioned she's back in the starting lineup, dealing with an ankle injury after the season opener against Minnesota. Did not play against Phoenix, and James Wade telling us she will be on a minute restriction here tonight. First shot, first make from Kalia Copper to get the three-pointer for Elena Delaton, and now two key free throws in her first trip to the charity stripe. 71-67. Final few seconds here of this game. Evans puts it up off the glass for 2 with .3 left. And that'll do it. Boy, a good win here for the Washington Mystics to even their record at 2-2.
Great job of flipping the script defensively, forcing a bunch of turnovers on the Sky and doing just enough on the offensive end.
It's a 2-point win for Eric Thibault and the Washington Mystics. It is the first loss of the season for the Chicago Sky. But now they'll have to lick their wounds. A couple of players go down for them here tonight. For Stephen Berner, I'm Lisa Bynes and Matt Lickey, our producer, Todd Benjaminson, our director. After the break, we've got Dallas and Seattle here on ION.
And what if I need a different kind of plan?
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Led it 43-28. Kelsey Plum comes off a double screen for a corner three-pointer. It's 56-33. The Aces in front. Jackie Young gets in on the action with back-to-back three-pointers, and it's a blowout at this point. 73-48. Make that 74-48 towards the end of the third quarter. Kelsey Plum takes it all the way for the layup there. 92-59 at that point, and then another one. Plum just comes down and pulls the triple to put the nail in the coffin. Vegas wins this one. Big final score, 105-64. Reigning WNBA Rookie of the Year, Ryan Howard, and her Atlanta Dreams squad getting set to take on Arika Ogunbowale and the Dallas Wings, and it's Howard getting the dream going with the deep three-pointer. Later, Ogunbowale quickly comes down and knocks down the mid-range over a couple defenders.
The State Farm WNBA Friday Night Spotlight on ION is sponsored by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
An absolutely picture-perfect Friday evening in Seattle, Washington. The boats are out, the sun is out, and we've got WNBA basketball here at Climate Pledge Arena. Good evening and welcome. Dick Fain along with Mary Murphy. These two teams, Seattle and Dallas, got off their season to opposite starts on Saturday. A win for the Wings, a brutal loss for the Storm.
Absolutely. For Dallas, they started at home and beat Atlanta in a thrilling ball game. And if they win tonight, they will start 2-0. Since they moved to Dallas, that has never happened. And for Seattle, not much went right in that opening night loss to Vegas. They look to get this ship turned around. They need to improve in a lot of areas. They've had good practices this week.
Well, obviously, no more Sue Bird, no more Breanna Stewart, but the third of the triumvirate still in Seattle green, and that's Jewel Lloyd.
Jewel Lloyd, 5'11", in her 9th year out of Notre Dame, needs to simply be great every night. And not just that, but take it to another level. Get her teammates involved. When the double comes, get it to shooters and defend and get in the open floor. You need a whole lot of Jewel Lloyd.
And from 124 to another, Arike Ogunbowale was fantastic in game number 1. She's been fantastic since she's been in the WNBA.
From one Notre Dame grad to another, 5'8" in her 5th year, loves the three. Dynamic presence, physical, but working on getting to the rim, getting to the free throw line. She does it all.
Two dynamic guards going head-to-head. 1-0 Dallas, 0-1 Seattle, trying to get off the schneid and get their first win. We've got starting lineups and a tip from Seattle coming up next.
Goodness of Jimmy Dean.
1-0 Dallas, 0-1 Seattle on a gorgeous Friday night from the Pacific Northwest. It is time for our starting lineups, and we'll start with the homestanding Seattle Storm trying to get their first win of the season, going with a 3-guard lineup of number 22, Yvonne Turner, number 0, Kia Nurse, and of course their superstar, number 24, Jewel Lloyd. Ezi Magbegor, number 13, her 4th year out of Australia, a rising star in this league. Keep an eye on Ezi Magbegor. And then the veteran, Mercedes Russell, wearing number 21, the 6'6" center, her 6th year out of Tennessee. Starting lineup for the Dallas Wings, number 11, Crystal Dangerfield inserted tonight in the starting lineup, the 5'5", 4th year guard out of UConn. Arike Agumbawale, the superstar, 5'8", fifth year out of Notre Dame, had 27 points in the opener on 9 of 25. Natasha Howard, Satu Sabali, who was excellent in game number 1, 25 points and 7 rebounds in the opener. And number 12, Veronica Burton, 5'9", her second year out of Northwestern. There's Noelle Quinn, the head coach of the Seattle Storm, and in her first year as head coach of the Dallas Wings, Latricia Trammell, 4 years an assistant in Los Angeles. Somebody you know well, Mary.
Very well, and they're excited about this hire, defensively what she does, and clearly they've got some offensive weapons as well.
Latricia Trammell getting a very good basketball team in Dallas that really did a fabulous job, particularly the triumvirate Natasha Howard, Sabali, and Agumbawale, all over 20 points rather in that game. Natasha Howard, the former Storm player, 20, 10, and 3 blocks in the opener.
Now, this Dallas team played really well, especially in that second quarter. They had a terrific first half.
Storm fans on their feet, always a great crowd here. Seattle led the league in attendance last year at 10,600 per game. They've actually seen a league best 15% boost in season ticket sales this year, despite the loss of Breanna Stewart and Sue Bird. So basketball very strong here in the Pacific Northwest. And the tip won by the Seattle Storm. Yvonne Turner will start things out. Post is Lloyd. She'll hand it off to Magdegor. Good penetration in the big 1-2 and kisses it off the window as Magdegor scores, making it 2-0.
He worked on that long and hard yesterday at practice.
And Durantes to inbound. She throws it up top, off the head of Magdegor. Certainly not the play that was designed in a very inauspicious end to a very entertaining game. The Dallas Wings hang on, and they had to hang on. It didn't look like they were going to have to hang on. It looked like they were going to cruise to this one, Mary. But, give it up for the Seattle Storm and that comeback in the fourth quarter.
Great comeback, but the Dallas Wings moved to 2-0 for the first time since the franchise moved to Dallas in 2016. Big win, and they continue on the road to Chicago.
And their stars came through tonight. The big three that all went over 20 points in the first game, all went over 16 in this one. Natasha Howard was 16, Satu Sabali was 17, but Arike Agumbawale, 26 points on 10 of 21, 6 assists and 4 rebounds. She was
39 minutes of play.
Played every minute except one. My goodness. Arike, your star of the game tonight with the 26 points. Seattle got 30 from Jewel Lloyd, 20 from Kia Nurse, but it was not enough. The Dallas Wings 2-0 on the season. Our final score tonight, 95-91. Mark Falk, our producer, Mary Murphy for Dick Bain, saying so long, everybody. Have a great Memorial Day weekend. Goodbye from Seattle.
And what if I need a different kind of plan?
Learn how you can pay as little as $0 at Ingrezza.com.
Hockey bombs, and I had to give him a lift home.
Okay, terrific. You remember where you dropped him off?